The air in Rosewood buzzed with excitement. It was February 14th, Valentine's Day. The town was famous for its romantic celebrations. Hearts and flowers decorated every lamppost. Red and pink streamers fluttered in the gentle breeze. Shop windows overflowed with chocolates and teddy bears. Love was in the air. The scent of freshly cut roses wafted from every corner. Couples strolled hand in hand, their laughter echoing through the streets. It was a day for lovers, a day for romance. Emily and Jake had been inseparable since high school. They were Rosewood's golden couple. Everyone knew their love story. Everyone admired their bond. Emily loved Jake's kind heart and his goofy sense of humor. Jake cherished Emily's infectious laugh and her unwavering support. This Valentine's Day was special. It marked their 5-year anniversary. Emily felt a flutter of excitement. She couldn't wait to celebrate with Jake. They had a tradition of exchanging gifts under the old oak tree on Lover's Hill. Emily wondered what surprise Jake had planned for this year. Throughout the day, Jake acted strangely. He seemed distracted, lost in thought. His usual cheerfulness was replaced by a brooding silence. He kept running his hand through his hair, a nervous habit Emily had never noticed before. Emily tried to shake off her unease. Maybe he was just planning something special. She dismissed his odd behavior as pre-anniversary jitters, but a nagging feeling lingered in the back of her mind. Something felt off. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the town, Emily met Jake at their spot. The old oak tree on Lover's Hill held a special place in their hearts. It was where they shared their first kiss, where they confessed their love for the first time. Jake stood there, his back to her. His shoulders seemed slumped, defeated. He turned around and Emily gasped. His eyes were red-rimmed. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. He held out a small velvet box. "Happy anniversary, Emily," he whispered, his voice hoarse. Emily's fingers trembled as she opened the box. Inside, nestled on a bed of satin, lay a delicate silver locket. A small folded note was tucked inside. It read simply, "I'm sorry." Before she could react, Jake took her hand. "Come with me," he said, his voice urgent. He led her away from the familiar path into the dense woods that bordered Lover's Hill. The trees pressed close, their branches intertwining overhead, blocking out the last rays of sunlight. The air grew colder. Emily's heart pounded in her chest. Where was he taking her? Section 6. The cabin in the woods. They walked in silence, the only sound the crunch of leaves under their feet. Deeper and deeper they went until they reached a clearing. In the center stood a dilapidated cabin. Its wooden walls were rotting, the windows boarded up. An eerie silence hung over the place. Emily's breath caught in her throat. She had never seen this cabin before. It looked like it had been abandoned years ago. A shiver ran down her spine. This was not the romantic Valentine's Day she had imagined. Section 7. The Legend of the Valentine's Rose. Jake led her inside, his grip tightening on her hand. The interior of the cabin was dark and dusty. Cobwebs hung from every corner. The air was thick with the smell of decay. He lit a lantern, casting flickering shadows on the walls. As his eyes met Emily's, he began to speak, his voice barely a whisper. "There's a legend," he said, "about this cabin, about a rose that blooms here. They call it the Valentine's Rose. Legend says it can grant eternal love." Emily's eyes widened. Eternal love, was that what this was about? Section 8. The Cost of Eternal Love. Jake continued, his voice filled with despair. "But there's a price, a terrible price. The rose demands a sacrifice. It wants the heart of the one who seeks its power." Emily felt a cold dread creep into her heart. Jake's strange behavior, the locket, the note, it all made sense now. He was going to sacrifice himself for her, for their love. Tears welled up in her eyes. She couldn't let him do it. "Jake, no!" she cried, reaching out for him. Section 9, facing the supernatural, but it was too late. A gust of wind slammed the cabin door shut. The lantern flickered and died, plunging them into darkness. A cold presence filled the room. Emily felt a hand on her shoulder, but it wasn't Jake's. It was cold, skeletal. A scream rose in her throat. The legend of the Valentine's rose was true, and now they were trapped in the cabin with something sinister, something that thrived on sacrifice, something that would stop at nothing to claim its due.